Day two of the 3-day wealth challenge, and we're back online. We're back here, and I want to welcome you to day two. Whether you're live or you're on the replay, I want to acknowledge you for taking yourself on to create the wealth and freedom that you say you want for your family. Because a lot of people say that they want something, and I'm going to share this with you. I'm talking to a friend of mine last night, and she says, manifestation, manifestation, manifestation. But a lot of people are sitting down and waiting for manifestation and not realizing that manifestation actually takes something, right? It has to take action. So I just want to throw that in there because I want to make sure that my crew, y'all, know that you get to take action, which is the faith. Faith is action, right? So that you get what you say you want. So my name is Lorna Sherland, and I'm your hostess for the Freedom Lifestyle brand. And I am excited to be here with you today. A little bit about me, if you don't already know, I am a real estate broker by trade, a real estate investor, and also a business strategist. And I coach female entrepreneurs and professionals into creating time and money freedom, building a legacy through real estate. So if you want to know, if you're not in real estate and you want to know how to get into real estate, I'm your girl to teach you from scratch how to build your business so that you can create time and money freedom now and leave that also as a legacy for your family. So today, I am excited about today because I have my friend and business partner, Lisa Williams, here. Before we jump to Lisa, I want to do a couple of things. I want to just recap yesterday. If you didn't come in yesterday, when Deborah Morrison was here, we kind of laid the foundation for y'all. Because a couple of things are super important. I have a couple of clients right now who are just a little bit challenged. And this is one of the reasons why I do what I do, right? Because one of the things is you have to have a certain mindset and when I say mindset, I said it yesterday, so go back and watch it. I'm not going to say everything I said yesterday. I'm just going to give you a recap. Go back and watch yesterday, because yesterday I talked about growth mindset, abundance mindset, right? Intentional mindset. Mindset is just a way of thinking. So if you have been thinking a certain way up until now, about money, about time, about real estate, about investing, if you've been thinking a certain way up until now and it hasn't worked for you to create the wealth and the legacy up until now, then you know something has to shift in your mindset. So what do you get to change in your thinking so that you start moving towards the thing that you say you want, right? So that's number one. That is so super important. That's the foundation. A couple of clients I have right now, they keep going back to the old way of thinking, and that keeps them stuck. And then I got to move them again, which I love. That's what I love to do, right? Move them back into their vision of what they're creating, because I teach it all the time. Your vision is always going to take you to where you want to go, period. It sounds simple. I know it can be difficult because it's a muscle. You got to build it up. You got to build it up, and it takes a little bit of time. So, just wanted to recap yesterday. Go back and watch the replay, and on the Facebook group. And if you're not a member of the Freedom Lifestyle Facebook group, just send a request to join, and I will review your request and admit you into that group. All right. So today. Before I jump into Lisa, I want to talk about the benefits from a real estate perspective. I want to talk about the benefits of what Lisa is going to talk about today. Lisa talks a lot about insurance investing. She talks a lot about how to strategize investing in different insurance products. We have a lot of different products that you could participate in where Lisa is concerned. A lot of products. One of them is a tax savings or tax credits for business owners. We can show you how to get tax credits so that you can use the money you get to reinvest in your business or invest in real estate, whatever you want to do, right? We have products where you can leverage the the insurance policy to do other things like buy a car, right? Buy a house, right? Invest in real estate. Now, why would you do that? I'm just giving you the basics because I want to just tee up Lisa for what she's about to teach today. Why would you do that? First of all, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you would do that. One is the tax savings, right? Because when you're buying the real estate in the insurance policy, the one that she's going to show you, whichever one is the best for you. By the way, make sure that whoever is selling you insurance, they're a huge fiduciary for you, right? So they're going to tell you what's good for you, not just sell you real estate policy because, okay? So why would you buy the real estate in the policy? Tax savings. That money is going to sit there tax-free, right? So you're building your wealth when you're going to pay the tax upfront for certain things, but as it sits there, it builds up, and that's compounding. That's number 1. Number 2, the money is accessible, right? If you have your money in other investment vehicles, a lot of times, i.e. an IRA, you go to take money out of an IRA, you got to pay all these fees, you got to pay all of that. What if that money stayed in your account through the insurance company? And again, compounding. You heard me say buy a car. Why would you buy a car through an insurance policy? Again, that interest rate that you're paying to the bank or the car shop that you buy the car from, if they're gonna give you the credit to do it, why would you pay them 5-6% interest instead of paying yourself 5-6% interest in your policy? Again, compounding. Guys, I hope you're hearing the through line. It's the little things. It's the little things that compound, right? And then the third reason why you want to use your policy is because it protects your money from the markets. It protects your property from the markets. Lisa will explain how it works because that's her wheelhouse. I'm just bringing you the information so that you have an opportunity to make different decisions. Remember, I said before, different way of thinking so that you build the wealth, 1, faster, and 2, tax deferred, and 3, protected. All right. So without further ado, I thought I was going to take a little bit longer to land that plane, but here we go. Without further ado, she is a ball of energy, and she loves to teach this stuff, right? So I want you to take out your pen and paper and start writing when she starts talking, okay? Because here's the thing. You can, in this process, you can actually build your wealth that way, what I talked about earlier, and you can actually become a business partner as well. So what would that look like for you, right? So just planting some seeds for you to take into consideration if you are wanting to truly build legacy wealth. I mean, Lisa, I hope you are going to share with the audience some of the people that are in this organization, that are in your community, because I want them to understand. Like last month, you went away with these millionaires, and just share some of that stuff so they understand the community that they're a part of. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to give you the stage and take it away.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some fun. Lorna and I like to go back and forth a lot. And you know what? One of the things that I love most about our partnership is that we keep learning from one another. And when I hear her talking about the be your own banker concept like a pro, that means that what we're doing together is working. Because when you know something yourself, but it's one thing, but when you can actually start to share the good news with other people, that's when this crazy, amazing ripple effect of wealth building starts. So thank you so much, my friend, and my partner. I love, love, love sharing the stage with you. And you and your audience, you are exactly the people that we are looking for in our community, our wealth builder community. We are all wealth creators. Lauren and I have this challenge that we're part of. She's part of our community in the Wealth Creator Challenge. And every month we are showing people exactly how every one of us is a wealth creator. I believe we are all God's very, very best idea, and that most of us, myself included, have been living life a little maybe less than we could have. 5 years ago, I remember I was looking around the room in my corporate executive bullpen, and I was like, I can't remember the last time I learned something new. And I knew that I was in the wrong room. So if you're in the wrong room in your life, just know that you're invited here. Every single time that we gather, every time you show up for yourself, every time you take advantage of the offerings that Lorna has, if you haven't already gotten to spend some personal time with her, I want to encourage you, make that appointment. You will get so much value from time with her. So friends, we're gonna have some fun today talking about a word that it's actually my favorite word of the year. Okay. The word is leverage. Leverage. It's another reason I love teaching about the Be Your Own Banker concept, is because isn't it sexy to think about using other people's money to build our wealth, right? Because bottom line, that's one of the key concepts that the Be Your Own Banker concepts teaches people. Okay. So as you're listening in, as you're watching this, I would love to invite you to think about this from three perspectives. Okay. Number one, is this knowledge something that could benefit my family? Are there holes in my financial boat that I need to plug myself that would really, really benefit me personally? Number two, do I know people that could benefit? Because here's the deal. Lorna mentioned something that's really, really important. We are part of a movement. We are building a wealthier, healthier future for American families. And we haven't invented this. We are part of a massive movement called the Better Life Platform. And you're invited to be part of it. We are in pre-IPO mode. We're startup mode. We are so excited. We are paying hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of commission referral fees to people that, guess what? All they're doing is they're sharing the good news about how we're helping families. And so we want to invite you to be part of that. You're going to learn more about that. Lorna's going to send you out some information so you can make sure and get more knowledge about how we're doing that. But I want you to be thinking, who do I know that could benefit from financial IQ being raised in general? Like who's teaching our kids about money, by the way, in school? I have a 23-year-old, a 20-year-old, and a 14-year-old. Thank God that I woke up and I started putting this information into my children's lives. Now I want to ask you a question. When is the last time that you thought about how am I supposed to be living the next chapter of my life? For example, did you wake up one morning and say, this is what I'm going to be? This is what God intended me for me to be? Or did you kind of accidentally land in your career? Okay. Because I want to invite you to think about how what you're doing in your life directly impacts the ability to create wealth in your life as well. So think about that also when you're actually in your day-to-day practice. How much of the things that you're doing are intentional because you have chosen to do this, or how many of the things that you're doing are accidental because you accidentally landed in that role, right? Lorna is a very intentional person. She's built wealth in her real estate portfolio. She's helping others do that. And now what she's doing is she's broadening her income streams by partnering with us in the space of building wealth in a very, very different way that, by the way, the wealthy have been doing for generations, right, Lorna? We've known this. So am I able to share my screen? Because I do have a couple slides I would love to share with the audience as we're going into this, and invite you to consider, okay, let's see here. Am I able to share now? Okay, sounds good. As Lorna's doing that, when we were talking about the word leverage, one of the things that I love most about leverage is that you don't have to be the inventor of everything, because what you can do is you can latch on to a wonderful idea that resonates with you, an idea that you can tap into and leverage the skills of others, leverage the platforms of others to create a ripple effect in your own community, because we all have our own community. Some of us have a larger community than others. Lorna just mentioned, I was blessed I just returned from a master's mind trip to Portugal. And all of the business owners there, one of the criteria is that we've built over 500,000 a year in our business. So that's one of the criteria, is that you have to be able to be part of the 500K club, at least, to be able to step up to the table. Okay. In my lifetime, I've been part of the Million a Year book club, fan club, the 500K. My income has gone up and down through the years, as I know a lot of entrepreneurs has, right? So it's one of the things I love most about leverage, is because if you actually tap into a group that has a system that takes you from self-driven income to system-driven income, that is really the power of leverage. Okay, so I want to share with you a couple areas that we're causing some disruption. So we're problem solvers first and foremost, and we're solving some of the biggest problems in our country. Lorna talked about taxes. We're solving some of the biggest tax crises in our country. We're also tackling the health insurance crisis that is just mind-boggling. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars that entrepreneurs especially are paying through the nose through health insurance for, quite frankly, not very good plans. We're also solving a problem around community. We know that we've lived through the last couple of years of community deconstruction in a lot of ways. And it's time to have a revolution in our communities. And we're also tackling the debt crisis in our country. These are just 4 areas that we're going to talk a little bit about today. One of the things also that Lorna talked about is the concept of be your own banker. Now, I always tell people, I have learned from people way smarter than me in this concept, okay? And I've just put my own flair on it. But this type of investing, the wealthy have been doing this for generations. The be your own banker concept, the infinite banker concept, the rich man's Roth concept. I had a client just a couple of days ago. She got on the phone with me and she said, Lisa, I want one of those things that TikTok was teaching me about. You know, this is starting to be a very socialized way to invest. Okay. So if you are new to this concept, don't worry about it. There's lots of information that's available to you. Our team is going to make ourselves available to you, but I wanted to give you just an idea. You know, are you where you thought you'd be at this stage of your life? Have you considered that you are meant for more? I think most people are in a position right now where they're seeking something, right? I know that this community are a community of seekers. What I want to make sure you do is that you don't be a community of professional meeting attenders, but that you also take action on that seeking, because when you take action, that's when things start to really change. So as I said, you know, could this knowledge benefit myself and my family? Is the current path that I'm going on, is it going to achieve that financial prosperity that we're seeking? And does it make sense maybe to think about building wealth differently in today's economy, in today's very, very low, by the way, tax economy? Believe it or not, we're in the lowest tax brackets in the history of our nation. Isn't that interesting how everybody feels like they're paying so much in taxes, right? Okay, so we're going to share, first of all, one of the biggest mistakes when it comes to building wealth that every person makes. And Lorna, do you know what this is? I'm curious if you know what the biggest mistake is. What do you think it might be? What are some ideas?
Well, first of all, they think they can't do it. Number one, it's not possible. That's the first thing.
The
And
mindset,
the
the mindset.
mindset,
Yeah.
absolutely. And number two, um, they feel like everybody else gets to be wealthy and not them,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
What's the other one?
That's huge. That's a definite, that is probably from a overarching standpoint, that is probably the biggest barrier for most people. I agree with you. I think wealth building is 90% mindset, 10% skill set. Now, this part that I'm going to teach you is the 10% skill set part, because the 90% mindset, Lorna focuses on that. She's brilliant at helping us all be better in that area, right? If you continue to plug into this community, you're gonna lock arms with us and you're gonna conquer that one step at a time. But think about it. It takes time. I'm 52 years old. I didn't start my entrepreneurial journey, by the way, until I was 47. I worked for someone else for my entire career. So think about all the deconstructing I have to do of my wealth builder mindset, right? Now, I will tell you, this is a tactical example of the mistakes, okay? Because there's three types of people in our world. There's people that work for someone else. There's people that work for themselves, which are the self-employed. And then there's the people that put others to work. And only one truly offers time and money freedom. Okay. So this is the biggest mistake, because what happens is we end up in the wrong cash flow quadrant. I think most of the community is familiar with the cash flow quadrant. This concept was very new to me when I first started my business 5 years ago, and I have become a student of this. I'm mentored by the founder of the cash flow quadrant, Ms. Sharon Lecter. I've been blessed to work with her. And I'll tell you what, when you start to really study this and become a student and make a decision to purposely move your way around the cash flow quadrant, you are going to be truly in the wealth builder status, because most people, myself included, trade our time for money. This is the left side of the quadrant. This is either an employee that has a job trading their time for money, or quite frankly, most self-employed people are also on the left side. You know, if they're not here showing up, they're not earning, right? The income is limited. It's very self-driven based on the hours that we have. It stops when we stop. You know, there's risk of unemployment or lack of clients, right? And it's a real false sense of feeling like it's reliable. Okay. Now, what Lorna and I have done through our partnership is we've locked arms together. We are now leveraging one another's skills, one another's time, one another's abilities, right? Because that is truly where you move to the right side, where you have a business that has a system that's system driven, that is unlimited. It continues when you stop. It creates that true passive income. And it's also sellable and transferable. You know, Lorna and I are building a business that our children will inherit, because it's a passive residual business that we're building, right? So talk about generational impact when you can actually do that, right? It doesn't matter if we stop, because it's going to keep going. So have you considered the system that we've all learned to be part of? You know, I laugh. I did this series last year on network marketing. I was fascinated by the network marketing world and how there's wealth built there, but also why so many people join one company, then hop over to another. There's a lot of company hopping in the network marketing space. And I interviewed some of the most successful people in network marketing. And it's so funny how they always talk about these limiting beliefs that people have around network marketing. I'm personally not in a network marketing firm, but I do believe in the concept of working with the hands of many. It makes sense. You know, when you think about the typical pyramid scheme. Have you ever considered how corporate America, this visual here of corporate America? I will tell you, I worked in one of the largest headhunting firms. I was a recruiter for 30 years. And I'll tell you what, I was a hardworking employee. I was commission based. I would never have it any other way. I love working on commission sales. But I tell you what, every dollar I made, my middle management got a cut of that. My vice president got a cut of that. My president of the company got a cut of that. So think about, does our next generation, when you think about the generation that we are raising up, does it make sense to help them dream of a different path, right? The debt burden that we are burdening our children with right now, they're going to college, getting in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of debt to go get a job working for somebody else and building their dreams, when we could actually be empowering them to build their own dreams as well. I do believe, don't get me wrong, 90% of people should have a job, because the entrepreneurial world is not for the faint of heart. It's not an easy world, right? But don't you think 100% of people should have more than one income? Doesn't that make sense, to have more than one income, right? So in our world, that's all we're doing, Lorna and I. We're teaching our students how they can move from the left side to the right side. And how we're doing it is through leveraging the systems that have been built by others that we've been blessed to tap into. Okay. So I want to talk about the second traditional way for building wealth that most people have actually done the opposite of. Okay. So Lorna, I know it's been a minute, but when you were working for someone else, what's the traditional investment tool that any company offers their employees to build wealth?
The 401k.
Okay. 401k. Yeah. If you're in education, maybe 403b, 457 in government, right? Mm-hmm. So that is what most, that is truly the number one thing that, by the way, all of these codes, by the way, are just tax codes. They're not a wealth building tool, right? They're just simply tax codes that were put in place back in the 70s because the wealthy needed a tax break. That's who they were originally designed for, okay? Everybody else during those times had pensions. Now what's happened is no one has pensions. In fact, only 6% of companies have pensions. But what has continued? We're offered the same things, okay? So I want you to picture a skyscraper in New York City, okay? And say it's like 100 stories tall, okay? And the first 90 stories, let's say, is all the employees of that company. And then the last 10 stories are the executives. So guess what? They offer the executives something different. Isn't that interesting? Right? So the 90% of the employees are offered the 401k, and yet the executives are offered something differently. And what they're offered is what we talked about, the be your own banker concept. You can actually, one of the things I love about what we do is that numbers don't lie. Data is available to you. And most all Fortune 500 companies that are publicly traded, the way that they pay their executives is public knowledge. Okay. And do you know that's the way that they pay their executives is through bonuses? And oftentimes the bonuses are through building wealth tax-free in cash value life insurance. So, think about right now, the traditional way that you are spending on major purchases. You have a bank account and you pay directly to, like Lorna mentioned, the car dealership or your mortgage, or maybe you have a renovation you want to do on your home, or you want to help your child get married, right? You borrow from maybe your 401k, maybe you borrow from the bank, maybe you put it on your credit card, maybe you get a loan from the car dealership, right? So this is how most people are spending on major purchases right now, okay? So I want to invite you to consider the power of creating wealth with Index Universal Life. So what Index Universal Life does is it creates wealth for your family when you actually save money, like Lorna shared, but it also creates wealth for your family while you spend on major purchases as needed. You know, these accounts are able to build wealth for yourself. In a sense, you're creating your own tax-free pension. What you're also doing is you're spending your wealth as you choose to spend it, not tied to the same rules that the 401k has, you know, or the Roth IRAs or the IRAs, the SEP IRAs, which you actually can't access that money without penalties until you're 59 and a half. Have you ever considered, isn't that interesting? So the traditional ways that everybody else teaches about wealth building. So we are giving these institutions our money, which we can't access without penalties. And we're also paying them fees to do it, right? And we're also at risk of loss. Anyone have a 401k that's lost in the last 18 months? If you're the average investor, you've lost 18% of your assets if you're in the market. Guess what? You don't lose when you're in an Index Universal Life. You don't lose a dime, because it uses more of an indexing approach to investing, right? Indexing approach is more of a staircase approach to investing. We follow the principles that Warren Buffett teaches when it comes to wealth building. He has two rules with money. The first rule is never lose your money. Rule number two is don't forget rule number one. Okay. And Warren Buffett had a bet with some of the largest hedge fund managers in the world back in 2007. He said, I want to bet you that my indexing strategy will beat your hedge fund performance over a 10-year span. If you win, then I have to pay your charity $1 million. If I win, you pay mine $1 million. And guess what? In 2017, he won that bet. Just ask the Google, as my mom would say. I always tell her, no, Mom, it's not the Google, it's Google. Just ask Google. Anyway, I digress. But this is a well-known bet. And, you know, it's interesting how if there's so many books that have been written on the indexing strategies. But if this is new to you, you know, which I think it is for most people, we want to make sure and support you in that journey. You know, we'd love to support you in your tax-free wealth building journey. I've put my calendar link here that you can schedule time with us to learn more about this strategy yourself. I'll put the link in the chat as well. And, you know, in this meeting, what we do is we tackle 6 main. Okay? Sometimes we first have to meet someone where they're at, which is debt. There's a lot of families in debt right now. What's wonderful about that is that we have some great debt programs, you know, that we can share with you. We have consumer debt relief programs. We have student loan debt relief programs. Now, if you don't have a debt issue, then sometimes first we get to look at, okay, where is my money going? Do I actually know where it's going, right? If I have life insurance, do I actually know what I have? Do I understand what I have, right? Do I have the type of insurance that only benefits my family if I die? Or do I have a policy like this that I can use when I'm living, right? We also look at protecting the wealth builder with wills and trusts. That's also something that we can help with. We help with all types of life insurance, long-term care, health insurance. There's a whole laundry list of things that we can help you with. And I want to pause for a moment and just ask if there's any questions that I know I want to be respectful of everybody's time and make sure that we wrap on time today.
I'm muted. Huh. Yeah, we have time, Lisa, and I know what's going on for you, so I want to be mindful of your time. Let's see. Are there any questions from our participants today? And let me look to see if there's anything going on Facebook. Hang on. I know I have questions. So
yes. Oh, there's Eric tuning in. I'm going to put my my link in the chat as well for those that want to actually schedule the time.
Yeah.
And Lorna, I also wanted to share with them about our next challenge coming up, and which is on July 17th. It's called I Am a Wealth Creator. And Lorna has a link that she's going to be sharing with you guys as well for that. So, we encourage people. This is not one of those things where you hear it once and then you realize, oh, I've got this down. It's definitely one of those things that you get to continue to be a student of, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the reason why is because it's new information, right? And the mind has to process this information. It's completely different from what you've been taught all this time. So, even for me, I'm still learning. I'm still learning this process, this new way of thinking, because things sometimes change as well. So it's not a matter of it's a one size fit all, number one. And it's not a matter of, you just hear it one time and you know it all, because this is a whole lot of different information that only the 1% have been using to build their wealth. And now, I gotta, how the brain works, right? It's gonna have to make it make sense. Because it's completely different from sticking money in the bank in a savings account and waiting and wishing and hoping that you're going to be able to retire off of even a 4% savings account, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of like sitting and waiting and sitting and waiting and sitting and waiting, right? What we want to do is it's not a quick fix, but we still want to accelerate the possibility of you, should you decide, the possibilities of you reaching your goal in your lifetime, enjoying it while you do. I want to
Yeah.
stress that part.
Yeah. Well, and
Enjoy it while you do.
I also want to encourage you guys, Lorna has been in the real estate space for many, many years, had wild success in that space. And she saw the wisdom of adding the type of license that I hold, which is a life and health license, to her practice. It's interesting. There's a lot of certifications that you can get in the world, right? I come from the technology world where it was, get your PMP certification or your security certification or what have you. And, I remember the freedom that I felt when I first got my driver's license. Remember that freedom to drive feeling, right? The life and health license, which is what Lorna has added to her tool belt, I consider it a license to build wealth, and from a recruiter perspective, I'm going to put my headhunter hat on for a minute. I always look at supply and demand in any business that I consider. If I'm going to leverage a business that is already in existence, doesn't it make sense to leverage in a business that there's a lack of supply? There's a high demand, right? And it's very lucrative. The business that we're in, it's the highest paid industry in the world, right? Outside of professional sports and entertainment, I guess I've given up my dream of being a professional entertainer that I had many years ago, but
I didn't know that about you. You did?
I had a dream to be a singer many years ago. I sing in my praise band. That's about it now, but
Well, you're
I
praising the Lord,
want
so that's
to,
great.
absolutely. So, especially for Lorna's real estate friends out there, you are leaving money on the table because you could partner with people like me. That's really what Lorna's doing. She doesn't have to be the expert in this space because I am, right? But she's leveraging my skills and abilities to further her wealth building journey as well, and those that she serves. So don't be afraid if you've never been good with money, if you feel like money runs from you. Those are limiting beliefs that we all get to release. And I just want to invite everyone to more purposely insource your money, conversations and your wealth building journey. It's really going to benefit you in so many ways.
So hold on, Lisa. You see, you go ahead now and you start using language about insourcing. What does that mean to people? It's a different, like that's a
Yeah.
different.
So,
Mhm. Go ahead.
so most people, myself included, they, we take whatever society says we should take. The 401k. We invest in the local bank down the street that's giving us 0.01, instead of taking advantage of high yield savings accounts that are available right now, instead of learning about a different way of investing like cash value life insurance. If you have a financial advisor, by the way, I had two of them. It didn't stop me from losing 300,000 in the 2008 crash, right? Guess what? I haven't lost anything in this market because I've insourced my money. I'm not outsourcing it to someone else anymore. Who cares about our money more than we do?
Yeah.
Nobody,
Nobody.
right? Yeah, nobody cares about it more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
And also not forgetting that part about, doesn't it make sense to create your own economy? For those that may be employees out there, nothing wrong with being an employee, but doesn't it make sense to create another income stream in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too many people are using that one income stream, and they're one emergency away from a disaster happening, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of times, it's a matter of, things are so coming at us like really so fast, like nobody really takes the time to even look at what they have,
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I do ever so often, and this is just a little example of how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Um, every now and again, once a month, sometimes once every 2 months, I go ahead and I look at my bank account and I look at all the things that are going out. And I'm like, do I really need that? And it's like little things like those that can actually save you money. Looking for your money leaks. I did a workshop, a masterclass on money leaks before. Little things like that, looking at your account and seeing what's going out versus what's coming in, and stopping the leaks on the things that you don't need, that you haven't even looked at in months, right? So that's part of this whole process. I just want to throw that in there because, like I said, most of the times we're just doing, we're just going, and not really slowing down to see what's there and what you can create instead of just being in the doing of things. So I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
share that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Lisa, what are some of the challenges that you've seen with people who, like we said earlier, say they want to invest in and build their wealth, but they're not doing what they say? What are some of the challenges that you've
So
seen?
I would say the number one biggest challenge is that they care far too much what other people think. And this is the most common one because they might attend this workshop, they learn a new idea, right? They
Mm-hmm.
might even sit down with me and have a consult and learn more specifically about how they can apply it to their own lives. But again, then guess what they do? They go and talk to their neighbor, or maybe even their financial advisor, or their cousin down the street, and they start telling them, I'm learning about building wealth tax free in a vehicle that I won't lose, that can provide generational wealth for my family. And the first thing they hear is, that sounds too good to be true, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing that happened in the 2008 crash. Remember we're watching the news and there were families losing their homes. There were, people, long lines of people with boxes of all their belongings because they've been laid off. And in the same program, you'd see these, big Fortune 500 companies being bailed out, right? And then there's these programs like student loan forgiveness, like credit card forgiveness, that's available to anyone. And yet people say it's too good to be true. guess what? Those Fortune 500 companies don't believe it's too good to be true, right? They took that money and they ran with it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the number one thing, is caring far too much about what other people think instead of actually taking the time to really become a student about it and make their own decisions, right? Don't care about what other people think. The second thing is that most people simply don't make enough money, Lorna. They're simply not earning enough. So that's where, I love our economy here, our environment here. We equip people to earn more money. It's our favorite thing to do, right? Is become a referral partner with us. Let us show you how you can build wealth, locking arms with us. Because, you can teach someone, but aren't they much more likely to actually implement if they become a teacher themselves, right? Like the more Lorna teaches and shares, she's becoming even, an evangelist about what we do, right? We need more evangelizers. We need more disruptors, right? So those are the two biggest things. And then I think the last one would be that you said it, we live in just such a just-in-time society, right? People are focused way too much on their cash flow versus their net worth. Cash flow.
Oh my God. Say more about that, please. That is so powerful.
Yeah, I think in our world, it's very much well, how much are you earning? It's a cash flow thing versus, you know what? It's interesting because I was a very high earner in corporate. My average year, I would make $350,000 to $400,000 a year. Guess what? I have not made that yet in my entrepreneurial journey yet. My husband and I combined, yes, we have, but not personally in my wealth building. But guess what? I'm on track to be a billionaire. And it's because of the leverage of what I've done in the system that I've built, right? And because we're locking arms with more and more people, right? So it's funny when you look at, I don't like to say the haters, but there's a lot of them out there, that have this limiting belief because your cash flow as an entrepreneur may not be what they have, but your net worth is a totally different story, right? So be having more of a net worth conversation in your mind, because guess what? We are building companies that our children will be billionaires. That is the nature of financial services. It is the highest paid industry in the world, and we're in the largest wealth transfer in the history of mankind, right? So, and more people get to be part of it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that so much. And that's the key to the kingdom right there. It sounds so simple, and a lot of people are after the quick fix, which, good for you if you want to do that. But how about long term, so that you don't have to, I watched my grandmother and my grandfather, in their later years. Gonna bring me to tears. Hold on. I watched them I watched them lose their house. Yes, it was in Jamaica, but you can build wealth anywhere, right? And for me, that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because that left a mark on me. Like, what if they had, and it's not like they didn't have the information, because the foundation of what is being taught in World Financial Group and in all of the companies that we're affiliated with, the foundation of what they teach is actually coming from way back, Earl Nightingale, Joseph Murphy, right? And my grandfather had all that information, but he didn't do anything with it, right? So this is why when I started this conversation, I talked about taking action, because that's the faith, right? That's the faith, taking the action, not listening to what other people are saying, and get in the game, stick your foot in the water, watch it work, but be intentional about it. Start small if that's what you get to do, and stay in it, stay in the game, because the consistency is the other piece of it that's gonna, um, really create the wealth. I think of Papa, what's his name?
Papa Cap. Yeah.
Papa, I think of Papa Cap. I was on a call, and I just want to share this real quick, and I know we gotta end this. I was on a call and I heard Papa Cap talk about how he started in business from being, I think he was a postal service worker.
Yeah.
And he doesn't sell life insurance. When he said that, I'm like, huh, really? And he earns what, $1 million a month or something, some crazy, ridiculous number. But when I listen to him, and I say to myself, what if my grandfather was like him, heard all the information and implemented, they would have had a totally different life. Totally different life.
Oh, absolutely.
A totally different end of life. I would have had a different life, right?
Yeah.
Because we create wealth. The Bible talks about creating wealth for your children's children, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the generational wealth that we're talking about. This is all biblical principles that we're implementing. So if you're ready to be on this journey, I would love you to join us on this journey. I put some information in the chat for you. The first one is around if you're watching right now or you're on the replay, that link in the chat, I'm going to put it on the Facebook group. That link is for people who have like debt, credit card debt, and other kind of stuff that they get to clear up so that they can become, yes, it starts with cash flow. You got to get some cash in so you can do some stuff with it. So that link is for that. And then the second link I'm putting in here is for, oh, shoot, that's the wrong one. The second link I'm going to put in here when I find the right one is going to be for Pitties. If you are a business owner with W-2 employees, okay, this is an opportunity. If you have not heard about the ERC, the Employer Relief Credit, you have an opportunity still to jump in and apply for some monies that are available to you if you choose. Now, when I say if you choose, I mean just that, because you can choose to not do anything, or you can choose to jump in the water, like I said, and get an opportunity to get ahead and start building wealth just by applying for access to money that is available to you. It's kind of simple, guys. It's really kind of simple. So, Lisa, I can't find that second link. Hold on, let me do that a different way.
Yeah, and definitely, friends, take advantage of time with Lorna and myself as well as she's getting that. If it resonates with you to leverage the system of others, what others have built to build your own economy, we'd love to talk with you about partnering in a referral basis as well and adding an income stream to your own life.
Yeah. Okay, so this thing is not working for me right now. So I found the first link, but the second one is not working for me, and I don't know why. I must have typed in something wrong. All right, I will get that to you. I see who is on the call. Jeanette and others. I will copy the chat and the participants so that I can make sure they have the links. All right, so this is a wrap for day 2. I hope this is really informational for you. I know this is new information. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to post it in the chat for the Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, I look forward to seeing your request to join us. This is just one of the pieces of information that we have to share with you around building wealth. And, you know, like Lisa said, schedule a call with Lisa so that you can get more information about building wealth through life insurance policies. You can talk to me about ERC. You can talk to me about debt relief. Whatever I don't know, I'll bring Lisa into the conversation and think about how you can leverage this even more, bringing in your friends. What if your friends and family were on this journey with you and you're all creating wealth at the same time? How fun would that be, right? So I want to hear in the comments what your takeaways were from today, what your intention is to move forward, and come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be day 3. We're going to wrap it all up. We're going to put all 3 days together in a bowl. I'm going to talk a little bit more about real estate investing. So be sure to be here tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern. And I thank you, Lisa, for being here. Thank you, Donese. Thank you, all the guests who have come on. Thank you for watching the replay and putting your comments about your takeaways and and tell us, give us the questions that you have so that we can get you the answers that you need to move you forward. Here's the thing, guys. You don't want to look back next year. I know I don't want to look back next year and say, what if? What if I had? What if I had? What if I had? Okay, so thank you again. I love you, Lisa.
Love you, honey.
Love
Thanks so
serving our
much.
audience. Feel better and have an
I
amazing rest of
will.
the day, guys.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Stop Facebook.